Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 31 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. This week, I would like to talk about worth as it relates to money and pricing your products. And here's why. Because I have gone in such a rambling circle around this issue for since 2011, when I was trying to figure out how to price my art. So my internet journey started with my artwork, which I still do, custom portraits and original art. I have a little Etsy shop. And, even back then it was like a struggle to price my work. It's a really tricky, intricate road. So I'm going to ramble at you a little bit today. So don't expect this to be linear. Hopefully it will be, you'll hear something that will trigger some awarenesses for you as I wander around here and share with you my awarenesses in the hopes that that's what happens, is that we can all become a little more aware of the struggle around pricing, even when you're, especially, not even when, but especially when you're an entrepreneur, right? Because it's hard, because there's no standard, and there's coaches and advisors and consultants out there making multiple millions of dollars. And then there are some of us that can't pay the bills and everything in between. And, artists too. There are artists that make multiple millions, and there are artists that can't even get anywhere near paying the bills with their artwork. Writers, everybody who is working for themselves and not handed an hourly or even salary rate by an agency or a company. If you're in business for yourself, you may have experienced this. The exception being MLMs, where the price is set, direct marketing, where the price is set by the company. So Young Living and Norwex and things like that. The struggle can come from getting paid what you're worth. But how do you define that? Dr. Michelle Mazur, M-A-Z-U-R, she does the 3-word rebellion. Highly recommend her to you. She tells people that she doesn't price her services on her, but more on the results her clients get. That's a good answer. And my clients do get results when they, come into getting coaching with me. Results happen for sure. The problem has come from the only real guidelines we're given, and the ones I've used, is to look at market value, to look at, who's out there coaching that has the kind of credentials you have, that has the level of experience you have, the background you have, and what are they making, and price yourself accordingly. A little below that maybe if you're starting out. That's too general. It's too broad, because it doesn't take into account what your beliefs are about receiving money for a non-tangible product. You can't measure it. You can give your clients all the, best and highest experience. You can give that to them. You can help them find their own wisdom, but they still have to implement it. And if they don't, it can feel like, well, maybe I did it wrong. But, that's actually a topic for a different day. But those instructions, price yourself according to the market. What will the market bear? Doesn't take into account any of those hidden energetic factors, your beliefs, your not only your beliefs about money, but beliefs about worth. this belief that we're raised with, that our only value comes from how we contribute to the machine. If stay-at-home mom struggled with this, and so did I. I'm not worth anything if I'm not making money, if I'm not at a job, if I'm not producing. We were born and raised as workers. We're taught that you perform and you get the reward from early on, from kindergarten, from preschool. If you do it right, you get the sticker. If you do it right, you get the money. If you do it really right, you get the big money. If you perform accordingly. So your only worth is how much you can perform, which then falls into how much you get paid for, and how you get paid for that performance. What a limitation. My personal awareness of this limitation has really struck me just this week. I'm recording this on a Tuesday for you to have this Friday, because I just couldn't wait. When we are we're setting ourselves up for that command, countermand, chaos scenario, right? We're commanding our world for financial abundance. We're commanding, declaring, affirming, doing all the manifestation stuff for financial abundance. But then when it comes and it doesn't match what we think we're worth, we refuse it. We get offended by it. It doesn't feel good to work for less than what we think we're worth based on our credentials and experience and the results we get for our clients. It doesn't feel good. But why doesn't it feel good? It only doesn't feel good when you think that if you're making less than, air quotes, market value, then it's not worth anything. That you're not worth anything. It is massively frustrating to me to hear people say, well, if your stuff is good, then it will spread and you won't need to market and, blah, blah, blah. That's not always true. Sometimes your stuff is really, really good, like premium good. But because of those hidden factors, it doesn't go like the script says. It doesn't fly off the shelf. It doesn't build its own momentum. And then we can feel like imposters or, frauds. Or, maybe we're inflating how good our stuff actually is. Maybe our clients are just, feeding our ego and saying it was great, but it really wasn't. This makes it so much more complex. To say to a big group of people, hey, if you get your stuff out there and it's good stuff, then it's going to go and you don't have to worry about it. In a way, that feels very irresponsible to me. I think you can say that, adding the caveat, and if it doesn't, then there's your work. If it doesn't, then there's some exploration to do around worth and ability to receive and your family stories around money. To make a blanket statement, you know what? I'm just going to take a firmer stance on that. To make a blanket statement like that is destructive and irresponsible. There you go. I said it. And I know that it comes from a good place. I know that the people who say that, I've followed a couple of people long enough. I know that that comes from a genuine, I want everybody on the planet to be successful and happy place. But I want to add to that. If you have a thing about money and worth, it's going to be a little more complicated. If you experience tension with the energy of something you want coming toward you, if you experience in your energetic system that as a penetration or an invasion, and invasive penetration, receiving is going to be a little harder. There's going to be some unwinding to do. It may not be that easy when you don't have the awareness. Now, once you have the awareness, generally speaking, once you are aware of what's going on, the rest is pretty simple. Not easy always, but simple. Like the instructions are the same for everyone. When you're aware that you're addicted to the energy of having your boundaries crossed, to the energy of not enough, when you understand that you're addicted to that because it's familiar, the process of breaking that addiction is the same. You've got to sit with you have to commit that you want it to be different. And you have to hold yourself steady in high integrity with yourself to refuse to engage in the thought patterns that create that emotion, that create that reality. That's the same across the board. Getting the awareness of what it is that's actually tripping you personally up, that can be a little harder. And that's when you do need a coach or a therapist or a mastermind group or somebody that can see you, because we can't see ourselves. If you're a human design projector, you really can't see yourself. You're here to see others. But seeing yourself, you need assistance with that. In a way, I feel a little angry, and I'll need to do some unwinding around that. A little angry that I let blanket statements like that really derail me and really hurt and really make me lose faith in my skill set. And that's not their fault. That's on me. That's my stories that I told about it because it fit my addiction to not being good enough, to trying and failing. That was my addiction. Victim thinking. Try, fail, fail. And only see the failures. Like completely forget about all my successes. And all my overcoming. Like that's not on the screen when you're stuck in a victim thinking addiction. So what do we do about that? How do you price your products? There needs to be an exchange or you won't be in business. You can't, keep the lights on. And I firmly believe that we are all entitled to as much money as our energy system can receive. And that as we go about expanding in other ways, we will receive more income. And it has nothing to do with our worth. It has to do with our skill, our ability, our capacity to receive and hold those higher numbers, those larger numbers. That doesn't have anything to do with worth. If I give you a set of blueprints and a hammer and a bag of nails, and you can't build a house, does that have anything to do with your worth? No. It means you don't have any training in being a carpenter and knowing how to read blueprints and knowing how to lay a foundation and knowing how to put put the walls together and the whatever goes into building a house and wire it and do all those things and plumb it and do all that. You don't know how to do it. So then we jump out into entrepreneur land and we get handed these instructions that make as much sense as a packet full of blueprints. We're like, what? So we're just bumbling around. Not everybody, but a lot of us. Me. Let's talk about me. Bumbling around. Just taking instructions and trying it out and taking advice and trying that out. And that's okay too. I mean, actually, in my human design profile, I'm a 3-5. That means learning through experiential learning, which means making a lot of mistakes. So that part I'm okay with. It just disturbs me to discover that I have tied money and production and effort to the sense of value as a human being. I've been told this repeatedly by people and not gotten it until recently. I would say 3 programs have really contributed to that. Dana Wilde's The Celebrity Formula, Sandy's Created Life Academy, and then Corey Michelle's Art of Living Crazy Possible. I've just immersed myself this year in getting hammered with these concepts that I have really struggled to grasp. Side note, if you have a defined head center and a defined third eye in human design, it's a little harder for you to see things from different angles once you have an idea. If you have an open center, it's easier for you to see things, concepts from different angles. So I'm getting it, that we've been conditioned to perform like trained seals for a gold star or a fish, for a paycheck. I perform, I get a reward. That's the way it works. If I don't get a reward, then something's wrong with my performance, which means something's wrong with me. I'm defective. That's how it plays out for some of us. And it's not true. It's not true, and I want to project that on the side of a building in downtown Atlanta. It's not true. Your worth as a human being has nothing to do with the size of your paycheck or your ability to build a business as an entrepreneur. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Your value as a human being is because you're a human being. Because you're here. Because you're in a physical body as an extension of the divine. And you have the ability to learn and make mistakes and grow and gain awarenesses and choose different things and explore life and be energies in your body, express emotions in your body. That's the miracle. That's the worth. That we're here and we can choose to have this wide range of experiences of emotions / energies, whatever you want to call them, whatever feels good to you. I like calling them energies because, I'm not the only one to say it, but I have said it for a long time that emotions are just energies. We need to take the labels off of them, at least internally, and we can feel a lot better about things. So when you're building a business, how do you want to feel about it? What kind of energy do you want to express through your body as you are doing the thing you do out in the world? How do you want that to feel? Set your income goal. Set your income. My sister prefers the word target. I think it's her. Several people prefer the word target. We have such a negative association with goals, those of us who've had these other underlying factors and repeatedly fail when we set goals because we have a twisted perception of our value on the planet. And it's okay to be mad about that. It's not okay to let that become a limit. It's really time for us to stop saying, because this happened to me, now I'm limited. And I blame the therapy world for that, if there's anybody to blame for it. The mental health field has some responsibility there for pathologizing everything. If you want to read something interesting, go read Thomas Szasz, The Manufacture of Madness. Thomas with a TH and Szasz, S-Z-A-S-Z. It's a sociology book, and it is amazing. The Manufacture of Madness. So then we still come down, we always have to circle back to how do we pay the bills? How do we keep our obligations? How do we feed all the animals and ourselves and our kids and put gas in the car and all of that? Well, while you're unwinding it, you might have to work at a job. You might have to stay somewhere that you don't really enjoy, because you do have to keep the dollars coming in while you're unwinding this stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a failure. And it also has nothing to do with your worth, which I have really struggled with that one too. And this is all ego stuff, mind stuff. It's okay. But when we're aware of it, we have to choose differently if we want a different life. So stop looking outside and saying, well, because that happened, now I have to, work through all this crap, and now I've struggled, and now this, and now I'm limited. No, it's not true. Because you're aware. Because you're a grown-up. Because you have the responsibility to choose. Yeah, terrible things happen to us. To varying degrees. There's grades of terrible, horrible, terrifying. But if you're listening to this podcast, you know enough to know that road, that way does lead to madness. To stay on that road will make you crazy, and you will continue to struggle. Because that way is prison and restriction and continuing everything that you learned in childhood. That has to stop. If you're looking outside of yourself and saying, well, that's over there and so I can't. Well, this happened so I can't. You're stuck. You're stuck in victim thinking. You're stuck in martyrdom. And you'll stay stuck there until you decide to do something different. And doing something different is that recovering from an addictive, what am I trying to say? A pattern of addictive energy, a pattern of being addicted to a state of mind, a state of being, the familiar bad feeling place. So as you're unwinding it, you need to be asking the question, how much can I receive? Not what I'm worth, not what the market will bear. How much can you personally receive for your services right now? How much how many ways, this is what I ask every morning, how many ways can I receive money today? To let go of, it has to come through this channel, it has to come through that channel, and it has to be this amount, or I'm not doing it because it's offensive, because I'm worth more than that. But the energy underneath that is I'm not worth it. Otherwise it would be happening. So that's where the limiting belief trips us up. If you're affirming and you're manifesting and you want more money in your life and it shows up and you reject it by saying, well, that's not enough, or I don't like what I have to do for that, or I asked for $1 million and I found a penny on the ground, what the hell? Do you hear the arrogance in that? Oh, yeah, universe, bring me money. Oh, not that money. This is like when you ask someone, well, what do you want to eat tonight? And they're like, I don't care. And you say, cool, let's go get pizza. And they're like, oh, I don't want pizza. And you're like, but you just said you didn't care. You just said you just wanted food. Yeah, but not pizza. All right, well, let's go to the steakhouse. I don't really want that. Well, what? What is that? Then we're doing that with money. Bring me money, bring me money. Oh, not that money. Ew. Not that money. That's not enough. Oh, okay, I guess I'll take it. But God, I asked for this much. But maybe receiving $47 for your product opens your energy to the experience of receiving, and you get to flow more of your product out in the world, your services out in the world, and you get to receive more, and someone pays you $47, but then they tip you double. But that won't happen because we're like, what? $47? But I have all this stuff. I have all this history. I have all these credentials. I have all this skill. And that's all true. And for whatever reason, your system can't receive the higher amounts yet. And that's all it is. It doesn't mean your stuff is crap, because it's not. Of course it's not. It does mean that your system can't receive the higher amounts yet, and that you can work with. You can explore that. How much am I available to receive? How much can my system receive? That's the question we should be asking when we're pricing our services, not taking advice from outside. Or maybe even doing both. Like, hey, look at the market value. Go find somebody who has your level of experience, 20 plus years, master's degree, history in therapy, history in trauma, and working with addictions and all the stuff. And before that, working with crisis, all that stuff. Add all that up. Look at market value. And then ask yourself, okay, how much am I willing to, willing. How much am I available for? How much am I willing to receive in exchange for my services? And when your mind is like, that's not enough. Okay, let it say it. Let it say whatever it needs to say. And mark your price, $25 or whatever you can receive. But listen for the number. And that is where you need to pay attention. Go ahead and do what you're told to do. Go ahead and assess market value. Go ahead and look at all those factors and maybe make that what you'd like to build up to. But if you sit in meditation and you say, how much is my system, how much am I available for? How much can I receive? What is my level of capacity for income at this moment, right now, today? And you hear $97, then that's what you need to go with. And again, when your mind is like, what the, you just say, that's okay, I hear you. And we're working on it. And we're going to do some stuff. And also, by the way, that number has nothing to do with how valuable you are and how lovable you are and what a wonderful contribution to this world you are. It has nothing to do with it. Zero. Our school system sucks. And we really need to put effort into finding a way that children aren't basing their worth on a grade or a gold star. And if you find yourself performing for a reward, you need to grab that and you need to explore that. It's okay to take pride in your accomplishments. I certainly do. I dropped out of high school at the beginning of 10th grade. I got my GED and I worked my butt off for my credentials. So you bet your ass I put my credentials after my name. I earned it. I'm proud of it. I love it. I put those letters after my name because I love it. Because I worked for that. It's like a trophy. It's like, hey, I worked for this. This makes me feel good. It doesn't have anything to do with I'm a better coach because I have some letters. My letters are for me. And so most people don't even notice them because it doesn't matter. It's not for them. It's for me. But if you're struggling to get a bunch of letters because you think that has something to do with your worth, that somehow you'll be better because you have some letters, it doesn't. It doesn't change anything because we all know that there are crap doctors and there are crap therapists. And you can have a person with 1 billion letters at the end of their name and they can be complete garbage as far as the quality of their services. Nobody's garbage. You know what I mean? And you can have someone who's never taken a single coaching class and they are just amazing. And to go to school and get a credential would actually distort the purity and the quality of the gifts that they have, because it would force it into a mold that it doesn't belong in. Can you feel that you have value if you're not part of the machine? Can you get it that that is the way we've been conditioned? When we moved from hunter-gatherer to farmer to industry, now to information ages, the people who own the factories need people to work in the factories. Our education system is based on a model from Prussia from I think the 1800s. You'd have to Google it. I'm not good with details like that. But it was based in training children from a very young age to not buck the system and not question authority. And that is being unwound. There's lots of good school models out there now that are doing different things. But for those of us that were raised in that model, let's knock it off and take a look at what are we worth as just human beings. And guess who gets to define that? You do. Not your grade, not your paycheck, not your investment portfolio, not what kind of house you live in, not what kind of car you drive, not what kind of clothes you wear. Nothing to do with that. If it's something that you're not going to take with you when you die, it doesn't have any place in being a factor in you determining your worth. Anything outside of your physical body, including your physical body, is not allowed to be a factor. You can't look outside yourself anymore for validation and evidence that you're a good person, that you have a right to be here, that you have a right to take up space and breathe air. That was all bestowed upon you long, long ago, before this body existed, before your next body exists, if you think that way. Your worth is your worth is your worth, in period. You have value because you have value. There's nothing you can point to that says, oh, if I have this, then I have value. If I'm like this, then I'm a valuable person. If I look this way, sound this way, have these objects that surround me, I have value and I have worth. No. Fuck that. That era is over. Dang it. Now I'm going to have to mark my podcast explicit. Well, whatever. I'm seriously mad about it. I'm mad about all the damage that's been done. And today I'm a little mad that we have to undo that damage. And then later I'll say, hey, I got some really good stuff out of having to undo that. Having to learn to look at that from a different angle as not damage, but experience. We keep trying to get somewhere. We keep trying to achieve something. We're so off track. Let's see if we can switch it up if you want to play this game with me that I'm playing. Not what can I achieve, what object can I get? That's not my question these days. My question is, what are all the ways I can receive money? Because there are things I want to do in the world. I pretty much need an apartment in Paris. I'm just going to say that. I need it. I believe I should have it. I'm laughing, but I'm dead serious too. So How many ways can I receive money today? How many ways can I see my own light today? How many ways can I become more aware of the value of myself as an eternal being? Show me what I'm missing. Show me what I need to see to express more God force through this physical body, to express more of the cosmic whatever it is, the all that is, the source, the great whatever, the head, honcho. My inner being, whatever you want to call it. That's my goal now. How much more of my soul can I bring into this flesh, blood, and bone vehicle and radiate amazing energy all around me that benefits me and anybody who's lucky enough to cross through my aura? I forget where I heard it, and I feel bad as I can't remember who I heard this from, but your aura is your advertising. I'm using that. I've totally grabbed that one. And whoever it came from, thank you very much. Your aura is your advertising, which says that that's where your focus needs to be. How lit up are you? How happy are you? What have you done today to make sure that you're aware that you are so much more than the numbers in the bank or on the scale? You are so much more than that, and you don't have to earn it. You couldn't earn it if you tried. How are you going to earn something that's invisible? Your soul is not a gold star that you earned. Can we start to get that? That we're not this, we are all of it. We're not just this thing that's focused on increasing our money. Let's focus on increasing our experience of expressing energy on this planet at this time through this body. And the money is secondary to that. And who knows what happens to the money? I'll report back. I can tell you that it's increasing. It's increasing every week. The second that I was like, wait a minute, this is bullshit. I don't like feeling like this. I'm going to do this different. And then I started finding the information that I needed. It found me. I didn't go out and find it. I started asking a bunch of questions. I started saying, I don't want to live like this. This sucks. This constant pursuit of something out there that maybe makes people think my stuff is good. What? That's insane. Your stuff's already good. You're already good. You were born good. You are good. And you're evil. You're all of it. I don't know if you can hear that cat in the background, but my God, he's been yelling for over 30 minutes. He wants in the camper. He likes to get in the way when I'm recording. Okay, enough rambling. I've gone a little over today, and I know listening for this long can sometimes be a challenge, but I hope something in here activates an awareness in you that the way we've been doing it is fucked up. The way we've been doing it is killing us. The way we've been doing it is robbing us of the opportunity to be fully alive and authentic and expressive and radiant and huge. This massive ball of energy radiating through this physical body. That is a goal worth striving for. That is the expression of your inherent worth. It's not the earning of your worth. It's the expression of the worth that you already have, because you have always had it and you will always have it. Can I get an amen? Okay, I'm going to shut up now. Visit the website if you want to work with me, thatmichellewolf.com. There is a veritable smorgasbord of opportunities. You can get a human design reading. You can get a clarity session. You can join us in Sovereign Storytellers, that is a premium experience. That is a rich, complex 4-month experience that absolutely will change your life. And that opens for enrollment July 1st. Actually, if you want to hop over and find me on Facebook, thatmichellewolf.com. No. Facebook.com/thatmichellewolf. I'm going to be opening a pop-up group so that you can get a little taste of Sovereign Storytellers for free. Also dropped the price on my clarity sessions by half for this summer. They were $222, now they're $111. But the website button's not changed yet, so message me. Okay, think less, feel more. I'll talk to you next week.